Yeah, live.
De California. Panic on the beat. Recuerdo el café donde aún te abandoné. Ahora aunque quiera no te puedo tener. Me la paso pensando por qué fui tan gacho. Tú solita.
Welcome to the Waked and Bake Show, everybody. This is Rick Wood and Sean Rosa from CTW CBD and Deeply Rooted Respectfully. And we have a guest today. We have Cassandra Butler from Love the Lemon. And I will, don't laugh already. We just have her on here. She explained to us a little bit about what you do, Cassandra, in the industry.
Yeah, so I do social media marketing and digital advertising. I specifically, on the digital side, specialize on Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Amazon. And then on the influencer side, mostly Instagram, but I also do social media for Twitter, TikTok, pretty much everything.
Wow. We are here today because people like myself and Sean, we know a lot about some of the things we do, but the marketing aspect, we've had our asses handed to us in the hemp industry, trying to advertise, do all kinds of things. I mean, Sean, to tell you, we've been shut down.
We've been black booked. Yeah.
Yeah. Right,
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah, we have been black booked, right? I mean, it's we're in an industry that's highly regulated, and when it comes down to what you can advertise and what you can say and what you can't, it's been very, very strict, right? I mean,
It is.
yeah.
It's not like a typical e-commerce product where you can have your brand awareness be mostly social and then generate revenue through paid media, through like Facebook ads or anything like that, because it's not allowed. So,
I mean, there's so much with it. I mean, I'm just joking around, but I'm not really joking around. It's like most of us, it's like all this Instagram stuff. I mean, I don't have time for 5 reels a day. I don't have time for 5 stories a day. I have made the mistake of spending thousands in playing influencers who weren't even really influencers. We paid a person in Miami $150 a pop before we had even spoken to you and realized what a horrible mistake that was. So, I mean, what's the difference between, I guess there's affiliate marketing and what's the other, influencer marketing?
yeah, so they're basically one and the same. I look at it like, think of organic. We're all talking about organic marketing today. So there's no paid strategy behind it in a sense, unless you're paying the influencer, but this is all organic marketing. And then you have your influencer marketing, which is where, you pay people or donate product, an in-kind exchange type program where you give them product, they post about it to bring brand awareness. Affiliate marketing is the best in my opinion, because that's where you have a deeper relationship with the influencer and you can actually track the revenue that they're generating to your business, because you'll give them a code or a specific link that people will shop with them.
So I guess that's ambassador marketing. Like, you're an ambassador for us.
Yeah, you would be a brand ambassador.
What do Sean and I need to do before we start? Like, I made the mistake of handing out money before I should have done it.
Yeah, so I would say that whenever you're starting, it's always best to, number one, think about your brand and the type of customers that you want to attract. So I would say I normally do it basically on an Excel spreadsheet and look up individuals or find individuals. There's different tools out there, or you can do it manually and find different individuals in a specific category. So for example, if you want to bring interest to your product, in mommy groups, well, then you would want to find a mom. If you want to bring it to younger generations, and find someone who is, their page aesthetically needs to match whatever you want your brand to be like.
That makes sense.
Once you have that, then that's when I always start by reaching out to them and getting to know them. You can do that very easily by just offering free product. Most of the time, influencers will post for free product or start a relationship like that. And then if they do a really good job with that product and you want to expand your relationship, then you can talk about, paying per post or using the affiliate link. From a business perspective, I think using an affiliate link is the best because it allows you to either pay commission off of whatever they sell. That way you're not just throwing hundreds of dollars for random posts. So that's always a good strategy when you're first starting. If you don't want them to go to a competitor or post a competitor, that's when you'll probably have to start paying a monthly retainer. But yeah, I would always say go with free product first.
Any questions about any of that, Sean?
Well, I guess the only thing I thought of is with the affiliate marketing, at least there's trackability, because if they are going to the site and they're using a promo code, then you're seeing the traction, right? You're seeing the actual amount of product being sold based on what that person is influencing directly. So there is some type of accountability, and there's something that you can track, right? Like a matrix that you can see and look at and say, hey, we did this with this person, and this is what they did with their group, and this is the return on that investment, right? Even just as simple as giving out product before you even get into a relationship where you're paying them to do any type of marketing for you as an affiliate marketer. So I really like that. That's an awesome tool for people to be able to utilize.
How does the average schmo try to go out and find an influencer?
Ooh.
You'd actually be surprised how easy it is. So there's different levels of influencers. Currently, you have people right now with 2,000 followers that say that they're an influencer.
Yes.
And they can be on a micro level, but it's not really about how many. You can also see people that have 200,000 followers and get 3 likes on a picture. So it's not really about, the number of followers per se. I would say to start, I would look for anybody above 2,000, like don't go below that. And then as high as you want. The higher following that you get, normally the more nitpicky people are about what products they'll post because they normally have other relationships with other brands. But all you have to do is start on Instagram basically and look up, a hashtag that's relevant. So you could start by searching a CBD hashtag and then seeing what other posts and see who's liking that post, because you want to make sure that they're comfortable with your product. So if they're liking pictures that are tagged in that hashtag, then they're probably cool with it. And a lot of people will also have like their emails in their bios. So I literally start with an Excel spreadsheet. I write their Instagram handle, their number of followers, what their email is or contact information if they supply it. And then I have a general message that I type up, and I first DM them directly on Instagram. And then if they don't answer, or if it says for inquiries, email them, then I would just email them. But I would just say like, hey, we have this product. We're interested in partnering with you. Would you be willing to do 5 posts if I send you a free bottle of our oil? And then if they say yes, then you can say, perfect, I'll send over the program details. And that's where even if you're giving them a free product, give them direction on what you want, what you want them to do with it.
That's a great idea.
We have had problems in the past with like, hey, will you put us up a post? And I literally said to a girl, could we have a Christmas post? And she just did kettlebells. I mean, it was like, so like when I felt like I had no control.
And when you're just donating product, you're not going to have a bunch of control. But that's why I say start with that, because you can see how receptive they are to your requests, how prompt they are. You can really get a sense of how they work. And then if you like it, then move forward with them. And if you don't, then there's no hard feelings there.
And I've learned that the hard way too. right now, and I'm on Instagram. Most of us small business owners, we have to be. Honestly, for someone like myself or for Sean, and you're trying to get bigger, larger, is it better for us just to hire somebody to do these pages? Some of us don't have the budgets for that. So when you hear 5 reels a day, 5 stories a day, that starts to become overwhelming.
Yeah, it can be really overwhelming. And honestly, there's not really a black or white answer on how often you should post. It's all in the data. So what I do is look at data for all of my clients. I look at their data daily. I look at it weekly. I look at it bi-weekly. And so if your engagement rates are holding steady and you're only posting once a day and that's your goal, it's really whatever your KPIs are, your key performance indicators. So it's basically if your goal is to hold a specific engagement rate, then sure, if you're trending under that, then you might need to post more or post more stories. But it's really an analysis of the data. So I would recommend for anybody that's starting, consult with someone on what data you should be looking at, what are your goals, where do you want to go, and even help roadmap that out. So that way then you can have a path to do it yourself. Because a lot of times people don't have the money to have an agency do everything for them, but you can always use it to consult or look at your data.
Oh, okay. Like, we could use them to do part of the solution, not all of it.
Right. So, and if you're making the content or, if you're even willing to post it, that's where a lot of the manual work comes in. It's just a matter of knowing what you're actually looking at when you look at the analytics.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Can I take a 2-second pause?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Sean. What?
Can I take a 2-second pause? I'm going to step away for 2 seconds.
I think you do that because if I hit end broadcast, I'll have to go through that shit again. So I'll just go in and edit it out. I have to ask Bill Girl Robbins questions.
Okay.
Don't forget to type in your email contact in there.
Oh.
What kind of like if I wanted to hire somebody just to do like TikTok stories for me, who do you talk to about that kind of stuff? All right, he's back.
I'm back. I had a pee. Right, I tried to hold it for so long, but I couldn't. I was like, I'm not in here. I can't concentrate.
You realize that this is all just recording now. I never hit end because I didn't want it to.
It happens to the best of us. Welcome to live TV.
I even forgot what I was asking. Ask a question, Sean.
I had some good ones earlier. Maybe we asked it earlier and I forgot already, but let's talk organic, right? You mentioned something about organic marketing. A lot of people don't understand what the term organic means and how we capture and how we get data without paying for that data. Is that what I'm understanding? What's now still considered organic? Back in the day, if you had someone who had their own requests, their own initial inquiries, that was organic versus paying for people to see your ads and then respond to those.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, you nailed it. So organic marketing has a lot to do with SEO, which is search engine optimization. So, on your website, calling out specific words that you want to show for. Basically, how you have to think of it is Google is this huge search engine that has all of these I call them little bugs that crawl, and they crawl all web pages all over your website and then try to match the top relevant articles or websites to whatever you're searching. And that's all done organically. So what happens is if you have a blog, that's the benefit of having a blog on like your CBD site. If you have a blog and you're talking about relevant things that are going on in the world or in the industry that people are searching, and you capitalize on those, well, then your blog post is probably most likely to pop up over competitors. In order to get top of page on Google now, you pretty much have to pay for ads. So.
And that's PPM, right? Or paid per impression or paid per.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, PPC, paid per click.
Yeah.
So yeah, on those you pay per click. And but also you can help your SEO on Instagram. A lot of people don't really know this, but if you write your captions to include terms or trending topics, and it's a public business, then you can also help. It helps if you like take a blog post, for example, like, I don't know, a blog post that you've done, like, you know, how this CBD cream can relax back pain. I don't know. And then let's say a lot of people right now, you can use Google Trends. It's a free tool, and you can see what people are talking about under any topic.
Wow.
And then if you post relevant information on Instagram, it'll help your organic.
Sure, I can see that. It's going to make the relevance between the two, and it's going to push yours up to the top of that list because that's what's trending right now.
Exactly. And brands, Google knows if your brand is cohesive. Google's very smart engine. And so on any social platform, if you are cohesive and regularly posting, your organic SEO is going to perform better.
Yeah.
And I guess the more you put out there on a consistent basis, the better it is for that SEO.
Is it also graphical versus verbal? So if there's more written versus more imagery, does that help you in the organic searches, how they crawl you, how they find your information? So if the words that you're using are relevant and there's more words than pictures, is it considered more textual bases versus more graphical base?
Yep. So that'll perform better. Keywords always do better. If you do have images in a blog post, there's a lot of people don't actually do it, but it's like the alt text, and you can type in. If you do that, it'll drastically help your SEO because that's just more text. So that's how Google finds that image relevant. So if you're not doing that, then it's not even going
to. It's getting lost, right? It's getting lost with millions of other photos that are being uploaded with no tag to what that image is. So it doesn't know how to really make a relevant connection to what that image is versus what you're saying and typing out.
Exactly.
Cool.
God, I almost forgot what I was going to say. It just went away. For us, you know, and Sean's been through it, it's the banking thing too. Now, I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to say what we had to do. We've had to have 2 Instagram pages. Why? Because if you have a bank, let's say you use Square and you have a web page. Well, if you're using those little bots that you talk about run all through your website. You cannot use hashtags that say CBD wellness, CBD facts, CBD heals. Because they'll crawl it, they'll go to your Instagram site and shut you down. So what we had to do was literally, there is one page that just has pretty pictures, some captions, nothing else. And that's for the website. And then we had to do another Instagram site so that we could actually do some engagement. So we could actually talk about stuff, because we talked about it on the other Instagram page, it would have been not to our advantage.
Right.
So is that a okay option?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine as long as it's cohesive and your branding matches. At this point, I feel like until Facebook and Instagram change their rules and regulations, it's always going to be like that. You'd be surprised, but even like Botox will get shut down on Google, will get shut down on Instagram. I've worked with a lot of clients in the healthcare industry that have issues with that. So whatever workaround works for you, I just say keep doing it, because they're always going to try to shut you down.
Right.
Yes, and that has been in the issue. But at the same time, we have to keep putting content out there. So that's the thing, is always putting out content.
Right.
I mean, are there aspects to each marketing agency, like for a small business, we're going like, we don't have time to do stories. Will you guys just do stories for us? I mean, will they break it down like that?
A lot of agencies have you pay a retainer.
Okay.
And will basically customize your package, or they just have a tier package.
Okay.
I do things more customized at my agency, so it's more of like, if you just need consultation, then I'll get on a weekly call with you for an hour and talk to you, or I'll look at your data, or I'll help you with random projects. I don't have a retainer or anything like that.
Would you type in your email contact information into the chat section, so when people see this, when we edit it down, they'll be able to talk to, if you need to talk to Cassandra, you can email her at that email address.
I put it in the private chat. Should I put it?
Okay.
I can't put it in the comments.
What are some of the things that we should look for when we deal with an influencer, like the bad stuff, like the stuff to stay away from?
Yeah, I would say anyone that is already posting a competitor, that would be pretty much a no-no. I would say, and anyone that doesn't match your branding. So that can be different, to anybody. But I think that you just have to be selective with, who you're working with because of what they're posting. It's more of a personal thing. Whatever your company is and your brand and how you want to present yourself, that's how I think about it. And I think about it too, it's a little different than like a Google review or a Yelp review, but would you pay someone $150 for one Google review? No. So why are you doing that unless you know someone? So
why are you yelling at us? Why are you yelling at us, man? We didn't know what to do. That's why we got you on the show. If we knew what to do. No, I'm just kidding. So okay. Sean, anything?
No, these have been really good stuff. Some of it we kind of knew, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't know the do's and don'ts, right? I guess one of the main things I thought of is how do you find that right person? I know you said you're going to have to search on Instagram, find a person with some good following. How do you validate them? How do you
create that relationship?
Who's good and who's not? Who's paying for their following versus who's got real followers, right? Because we all know there's some tricks out there. You can do some things to really get your numbers up. How do you decipher who are the real influencers versus who are paying for the ability to show that they're an influencer?
Mm-hmm. So I always say I first look at everyone's page and I see what type of content they're posting. And then I'll click on a few different posts. And you can pretty much calculate anybody's engagement rate by looking at the total amount of followers and how many likes they're getting, and look at that ratio. Okay. So if someone is buying a ton of followers, then they're probably not engaging with their page at all. So if you have 150,000 followers and you get 20 likes, there's a problem.
Yeah.
So that would be a red flag. That's definitely something to keep an eye out for. And then about their communication, I would say I always read the captions and I make sure that they're grammatically correct.
Yeah. Okay, there you
because
go.
that's important. You don't want someone making your brand look not smart because they can't type. So, I always look at that. I look at people's stories because that disappears. So a lot of people will use their stories, but I'll stalk people for a day or two and kind of look at what kind of stories they're posting or what they're into, what they're sharing. And you'll get a really good feel for people that way.
Oh, okay.
That's a really good suggestion. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I also think, Sean, and I hope that Cassandra doesn't mind by putting her on the spot like this, but when we, put this, we put people, shut up, Sean. When we put this out there, if you guys have a topic and you see this, something that you'd like to see Cassandra cover, like whether it be influencer marketing or whether it be what's a good form of doing SEO or whatever it is, we could have her back on because there's a wealth of information here. And if I had spent maybe just 10 more minutes, because I didn't know how this would go, but there's a lot of good stuff here. This is like a treasure trove of information.
You took the words out of my mouth, a treasure trove, right? If you're getting into this and you have never done affiliate marketing, you've never done a PPC campaign or a pay-per-click campaign, and you don't know about how to get impressions, and you don't know how to do affiliate marketing, right? If you don't know how to break through the gatekeeper and talk to that person and get that intro email out, how are you going to make the right connection, right? That's really what she's saying here. That's how you build that relationship. You got to give them something in return, and then make sure the value of what it is you're giving and what you're receiving mirrors up to what your expectations are on the deliverables. And Cassandra hit on that point. Make sure there's deliverables. Hey, this is what we're sending you. This is what we want for it. This is when we want the post. This is what time we want the post. This is what we want you to wear. This is what we want you to say. And if you can't do that, we're going to find someone else.
Mm-hmm. There's a plethora of people. Everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants to be paid. Everyone wants a free product. If they won't do it, someone else will.
Right. Just find them and move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I met a person through my other business who was an attractive model, had 1 million followers, and in fitness and stuff. But as I started to go through and see stuff, everybody was from Malaysia, Russia, Ukraine. Yeah. There weren't any. They were all bots.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And you'll also dry up a resource. So an example is I worked for a Wagyu beef company for a long time, and we had no followers. We had very low engagement, and it was my job to fix it. So I had to start doing the process that I described with the influencer marketing. And I just started looking up different grill brands and different grill hashtags. And I found these people that one guy was a dad and it looked like his hobby was grilling. And we offered to send him some free meat. And he actually grew his following really, really big. And we were growing with him. So that's another thing. It's don't turn up your nose. Yeah, don't turn up your nose to people just because they do have a small following. If they have 5,000 and you have a good product and they want to grow their following, they'll probably work really hard for you to grow their account too.
Right. That's you actually in a private conversation gave me that hint. And we have met some interesting people through I think her name is Alyssa Vibes on Instagram that does some like for us. And she's really good. She's very creative. I mean, she'll put a story out there like that. I want to build up more like that for our team. And I know that Sean does too. So
you can also partner with other companies. So it might not, you can get really creative. So it might not be in the CBD industry. It might, be Girl Robin is one. She could potentially make cocktails with the drops and then feature that, and that's a different audience because now you're hitting grillers. But then you can look at grillers and there's a million different types of, there's Traeger, there's all these different groups that all know each other within. So I always recommend pick your target and then narrow it down and then master one group. And once you have that one, move on to the next, and then start capturing all of those audiences.
Good
Well, we've got some work to do.
I know. It kind of inspires you a little bit, doesn't it? Because like, well, you know what? It's like, maybe there are some more things that we should really be focusing on doing, right? We have these great products. We know they work. And we know we need to get more people to experience them so that we can help the ROI, right? Because no one wants to see their business fail because they didn't get enough sales, right? And that's really, you have a great product, you need sales to keep things going. That helps get the price point down. It makes it more accessible at that point. And now you can continue to grow your business together. And I think that was an awesome point, Cassandra.
Yeah. And I also think it's good to think outside of the box. Another random idea. It's like, okay, when I think of CBD, I try to think, well, what are people that are using CBD also into, or what else are most people into? One idea that comes to mind is horoscopes. Everyone loves to share their horoscope, or look up their horoscope on Instagram. There's a million of those accounts. Some of those accounts will feature you if you message them and will work with you. So you sometimes have to pay, but if you're going to pay for a post, I think it's better to pay to be advertised on like a big horoscope following Instagram, and then they can tag your brand, and you know that then you would get a ton of exposure. There's millions of people that follow those accounts.
Thank you so much. I mean, on behalf of myself, Cassandra, Sean, all of us, man, thank you for doing this. We would love to have you back on.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I would love to come on.
Yeah. You have a lot of knowledge. You have experience in the industry. I think other people, even if they're not involved in the CBD business like we are, or the medical marijuana industry, they're going to find value in these conversations and find something to inspire them to kind of push themselves into that next, to get that exposure, to find the right person, to find that influencer.
Most of these people who started, like whether it be CBD or they got into the cannabis industry or whatever they were doing, the small guys like us mostly just gave up because they didn't know, they couldn't keep up with it.
Right.
But don't give up, folks. We'll give you more info next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.
Great show.